The greatest feeling you can get in a gym, or the most satisfying feeling you can get in a gym, is the pump. Let's say you train your biceps. Blood is rushing into your muscles, and that's what we call the pump. Your muscles get a really tight feeling, like your skin is going to explode any minute. It's really tight. It's like somebody blowing air into your muscle. It just blows up, and it feels different. It feels fantastic. It's as satisfying to me as coming is, as having sex with a woman and coming. So can you believe how much I am in heaven? I'm like getting the feeling of coming in the gym. I'm getting the feeling of coming at home. I'm getting the feeling of coming backstage when I pump up, when I pose out in front of 5,000 people. I get the same feeling. So I'm coming day and night. I mean, it's terrific, right? So, I'm in heaven.
I'm coming day and night here. I'm with you, Arnold, baby. Woo. One of the reasons, one of many, that I enjoy getting a little freaky in the gym. Well, or not in that way, at least not yet. Anyway, I'd love to do. Okay, I gotta calm down. Woo, the Golden Stallion, the man of tomorrow, sobs through the radar, radio star, the thriller the thriller that is Sazilla, even in the gym, baby. Oh man, I get so excited talking about this. I can't control my tongue. The things that this tongue has done. Anyway, this is an episode. In fact, last year when I did this, I did it last year, January 2018. I said that, I think it'd be good to do these like once a year. And in fact, I did one in 2017 as well. And I just pretty much called it my fitness special. So this is the fitness special 2019. And it's always a great time to do these because a lot of people are getting new gym memberships. In fact, recently I got a gym membership as well. Previously, I had been only working out from home. But, we'll talk more about that in a second. But I think this is good to do a yearly check-in. What has changed? What have I learned? What can you apply to your own workouts if you want to work out? And I start every time I do a fitness special. Again, I only do them once a year. Okay, sometimes I get questions into the Wednesday Q&As asking me, about fitness questions. Hey, that's fine. I'm happy to answer them throughout the year. But I like to do, again, that yearly check-in. But the most important thing I want to say is that, look, fitness, bodybuilding, working out, all that, it's not for everyone. The best you is the you that you want to be. Okay, so, I consider it important. It's something that I care about. All right. But it's not something that I put on other people that they have to do, or, seriously, like if you don't want to do it, I don't judge it. I take people as I find them. That's how it is. So, don't take this as any kind of judgment. And I have my own opinions within fitness on how I like things to be, or, and so on. So just take it. They are just that. Everything I am about to say here is just my opinion, because there's the chance that some of what I talk about could be taken out of context as being something that it doesn't mean at all. Okay. So I want to make that very, very clear. These are just my opinions. They are not truths by any sense, by any sense of the word, really. It's what works for me. And that's an important thing to understand within fitness as well, is that, look, we're all individuals, mentally and physically. And, what's good for the goose may not be good for the gander, right? I mean, there's some things that, that there's things that work for me. There's things that work for you. A lot of that can come down to genetics. Some people can build up big calves. Other people cannot. And just, it's a genetic lottery, and it's just that. It's a genetic lottery. Some people win. Some people, and then it's even a question, do you want big calves? Maybe you don't. So, again, this is all down to opinion. This is all down to my own taste. That is a huge part of it, is my own taste. And so that's got to be abundantly fucking clear right at the onset. Okay, there is no, it's not Planet Fitness where it's a judgment-free zone, but really, there's no judgment. Okay, there's no judgment in what your goals are. So where Planet Fitness seems to have judgments over what your goals are. But regardless, you do what you want to do. You look how you want to look, and it doesn't matter what you got to do to get, to get to the look that you want. This is, what I've experienced, my own N of one, my own experimenting, and so on. And you can take it as you find it. Okay, and if if it's something that you find works for you, hey, great, I'm glad that I could help. But I like to do this yearly check-in, and then maybe there's things in here that are somewhat universal that could be helpful for you. So why don't we start breaking into it? So, like I said, fitness is really important to me. In fact, I dare say I am becoming a bodybuilder. I'm not going to go IFBB pro. I'm just not going to, for a few reasons. One is that I'm 37. That's a little late in the game to try and go IFBB pro. But the other reason is that there are specific reasons that I am doing this. There's specific reasons that I take fitness so seriously. And that's really where I like to start any fitness special, because if you are new to working out, or even if you've been working out for a while, it's good to do a reassessment of, both the new person, both the newbie, and the seasoned, seasoned veteran, shall we say. It's always good, certainly at least once a year, to do a check-in. Why are you doing this? Why are you working out? What is the purpose of your fitness regimen, and so on? And there's very few, if any, wrong answers. Really. In fact, I dare say the only wrong answer is that you're doing it for someone else. Okay? Meaning that, you want to necessarily, I don't want to say because it's okay to want to impress somebody, but you're doing it because someone else is, shaming you into doing it. Okay? Now, that's wrong. That is probably maybe there's a few others, but that's really the only wrong reason as far as why, you want to get stronger, why you want to be fitter, why you want to have a certain body type, why you want your abs to show, whatever that happens to be. Otherwise, there's really no wrong reasons. A lot of people want to, work out and want to look good because, when it comes time to go to the beach. Honestly, that's as valid a fucking reason to put in 2 hours a night at the gym as any. It really is. Okay? And I think a lot of us, or a lot of people, I think society, okay, that evil word, no, but the society likes to tell us that that's vain, that is, that's very shallow, that's not okay. No, it's perfectly fucking okay. That's a totally valid reason, is that you want to look good. Maybe you want to impress the ladies, or whatever. Maybe you're a guy wanting to impress the ladies, or you're a lady wanting to impress the ladies. Hey, rock and roll, that's 100% valid. Maybe you just want to look good naked. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Because honestly, even that is not as simple an answer as it sounds. Certainly one of my primary motivators, and again, there's usually not just one reason, right? One of my primary motivators, I like to look good on the beach. That's certainly a part of it. But do I like to look good naked? Oh, fuck yeah. I absolutely do. I have no problem admitting that. But it's more than that, right? Because looking good naked implies that you're going to get your freak on. You're going to get sexy. You're going to have sex. And, being fit just takes sex to a whole other level, because you can go longer, right? You can do more. You can lift your gal up. Whatever the hell it is. Or if you're a gal, if you're a woman that's getting fit, you're able to do positions that most men can only ever dream of seeing in real life, and usually they never do, unless you're the lucky few. There's all kinds of whatever the reason. That's point being, okay, is that it's not just about look. It can be about performance. It can be about endurance. It can be about all kinds of things, So whatever the reasons are, or maybe you just want to live longer. You want to be as healthy for as long as you can. That's certainly another reason why I work out literally 7 days a week. That's a damned fine reason, obviously, okay, because, the medical evidence seems to show that, being fit allows you to live longer. Now, grant you have guys like Bill Gates who would tell you that actually, maybe the amount of time you spend in the gym compared to the amount of time that it supposedly saves you at the end of your life, it actually equals out, that you would live more doing other things and effectively eating what you want if you don't go to the gym and you just, go around, I don't know, being whatever you want to be, okay? And, would anybody tell Bill Gates that he hasn't lived a hell of a life? No, I don't think anybody would necessarily say that. So I get that there can be arguments that go both ways on that, but at the same time, you can look at Bill Gates and then say you could look at Sylvester Stallone, who are, similar in age in a way, and, who looks better, who's might be without having to pay for it, who might be able to, walk out of the room, with a girl in his arm or something like that, or a woman in his arm. Well, that's probably Stallone. But again, that comes down to what goals do you have, and so on. So, again, all of this comes down to what you want. There is no judgment here. You do you the way you want to do you. Your best you is what you decide it is, not what someone else tells you it is. But it is very important throughout your, fitness career, throughout your fitness regimen, or if you're just starting, you've got to be able to answer the question, why do I want to do this? Do you want to go and be IFBB Pro? Do you want to be like, do you want to win Mr. Olympia? That's valid too. Fuck, go for it. I think it's dynamite. It's awesome. Okay? So, whatever the reasons are, go for it. All right? But just make sure you know what the reasons are, because that's what's going to keep you going. That's what, the hard part, especially this time of year, January, right, of any year, you get so many people signing up to the gym and they usually drop off within the first couple weeks, and they, maybe they bought a year membership, but then they never, they almost never use it. They'll use it for the first couple weeks to a month maybe, and then they never end up using it. The people that will be able to keep going when they start working out are the people, or as you continue to work out through your life, whatever, the people that can keep going are the ones that know why they're doing it and are dedicated to the reasons that they're doing it. Okay, so that the mental game is absolutely the most important part, of any workout regimen, any fitness regimen, in any plan of staying healthy, really. I mean, this goes to diet, to physicality, to mentality. I mean, it's so important to answer why. Why am I doing this? What do I want? Again, I've always said that's the most important philosophical question in the human condition, is what do I want? So with all of that said, let's start talking about what exactly does my workout look like. I will tell you what new things I will mention when something is new that I've added in this year. And feel free to find the previous fitness specials. Certainly I have changed. Like the way that I do things have really, even in this year, has changed pretty dramatically for a few different reasons. So that's, again, another reason why I don't want to just leave you with, oh, I did a fitness special, 2-3 years ago, and if you want to know what I do, you can just go listen to that. No. I mean, as your body grows and as you continue on, really, this fitness journey, shall we say, you learn new tricks, and you might end up starting to do some things differently than what I did. I know there's things I did 3 years ago that were actually stupid, that are on audio, and recorded for all time, and available for effectively all time, that people can hear, where, I would not recommend doing that now, but, you learn as you go along. And I think part of the value in doing this, in doing these shows, is that I am not being paid by Muscle Farm as much as I use their products, or I am not being paid by, whatever fitness company or something like that, nor do I have any incentive to really do to do some kind of, I'm not making a magazine. Like, I'm not doing Flex Magazine, right, where I have to sell issues every month. This is literally just me. This is about as honest as you're going to get, a workout conversation just about anywhere, or maybe even tips. Though, again, everybody's an individual, so my tips, what I do, may not work for you. So, all right, what hasn't changed from last year in January is that I still work out more or less 7 days a week. At the very least, the goal is to work out 7 days a week. If it only ends up being 5, then it ends up being 5 one week. But still, the goal, depending upon travel and things like that, the goal is 7 days a week to get in something. Okay, so that's what I do, and it usually ends up being anywhere from, it can be up to 40 minutes depending upon the workout, okay, and there are days, and I'll talk about this, how if you have a day where you're going to have less time or you need more time to do something else and not work out, there are certain workouts you can do that will end up being quicker, but, in my opinion, there's really no such thing as a bad workout. The only bad workout is the workout you don't do. Okay, so even getting in something is important, and I'll get into that. Things that you can do. Maybe you only have, 10, 15 minutes. There are workouts to do, great workouts, important workouts to do inside of specialized workouts at that, that hit specific body parts to do within 10 to 15 minutes if that's all you have in a morning or in a day or something like that. I mean, it's really, really important. So, we'll get into all of that, but I still do 7 days a week. And again, it averages anywhere between 40 minutes to 2 hours a night, okay, that I end up working out. Again, obviously, this is very fucking important to me, okay? Now, as far as something that I've added, what do these workouts look like? Obviously, 7 days a week, that gives me a lot of time to concentrate on specific body parts each night. There are people who do like full body workouts, maybe 3 days a week, that end up looking, great. Good for you. That's not my style, but I know that that's a thing. There are people who split it up a little more than that, do it a little more often, where they do lower body one day and they do upper body, the entirety of the upper body, another day. And when I say the entirety, they do back, chest, shoulders, arms, biceps, triceps, delts all in one day, or traps all in one day, because I already said shoulders. So, so anyway, those are things I've yet to experiment with. I don't know that I'm ever going to experiment with them, but they're out there, okay, for you to mess with, if you want to try that. But I concentrate on specific body parts. What I've added in this year is I have embraced the superset. Okay, not every day out of the 7 days a week, but I've embraced the superset to where I do push and pull, meaning, as far as a breakdown of my workouts right now, my workouts are, okay, you have triceps and biceps. That's one day. That's a superset, okay, where superset means that you do, say, at least 2 exercises. If you did 3, it'd be a tricep, but you do 2 exercises. Okay, one right after the other. There's no break. Okay, you don't rest for 30 seconds to a minute and a half, all right, in between them. And there's a purpose to that, because when you do a superset, especially when it's opposing muscle groups, the muscle groups work against each other in such a way that they grow faster, all right? So, first day will be triceps and biceps, okay? As far as, like, what exercises get comprised within that, that's where things come down to taste. I put a link in the show notes, okay, and this was in last year's as well, but it's still just such a great resource. For bodybuilding.com, they have an exercise guide where it shows you all the different exercises and allows you to choose, like, with different equipment that you might have. Do you have dumbbells? Do you have barbells? Do you just have a ball? Do you have an easy curl bar? Whatever. You can choose all that within it. It's such a great resource. So as far as choosing what exercises to do, that's the one to rock with. Now, I usually do 4 sets of supersets, okay? And those generally will include anywhere of, or not sets, but four different exercises, 4 different rounds of supersets. And within those supersets, depending upon the time that I have, I'll do anywhere between 3 to 4 sets within each superset, okay? Meaning that I will say my first exercise. Okay, for example, my first exercise will be, would be drag curls. Okay, let's say that's actually not my first exercise. All right, how about I shake this up? So my first exercise, let's say, is concentration curls for the biceps, right? Okay, I'll do 1 set of that for, up to 8 to 12 reps. Okay, as in 8 to 12 physical curls. Do 8 to 12 reps on that. And then for triceps, I will do, let's say I'll do skull crushers, okay, with an easy curl bar. And so I'll do, 8 to 12 of those. That's one superset. I'll rest for a minute and a half. Then I will do that over again, okay, where I'll do another set of concentration curls. And then, immediately following no rest, I'll do skull crushers with an easy curl bar. And I'll do that 3 to 4 times. Okay, I'll repeat that process 3 to 4 times. All right. So, and that's generally how every workout or every day that I describe to you works, generally. Even if it's not a superset, it's still the same concept. 4 different exercises or 4 different supersets of exercises, and each one has 3 to 4 rounds within it. 8 to 12 reps within. I mean, very, very basic. I keep it very simple. These are tried and true concepts of working out that, I personally feel like, just for example, my biceps are presently about 19 inches. So, and that's very good from where I was a few years ago, because a few years ago, believe me, that I know there was a point where maybe I only had 15 or 16. And, that's pretty good growth, okay, for over this amount of time. And my personal goal is to get to 21 inches as far as biceps go. I mean, and it's, or should I say arms, because it's not just biceps. Triceps are a major part of getting, that higher measurement. So anyway, just so you know, or just so you have an idea of I guess, of where I'm looking to go with that, but just the fact that this process, which, the intensity and the frequency and, adding in supersets, that has changed, but by and large, it's the same concept that people have been doing for decades. So back to the breakdown of days. First day is, triceps and biceps, okay? And that's a workout that will often go an hour and a half. That's one that takes a little while, especially when you add in more exercises like that, doing the supersets. That's what's going to happen. Next day, maybe shoulders. Okay, and when I do shoulders, it's actually shoulders and traps that I do. And traps, there's really only a couple of great exercises for traps, like front raises and, and shoulder shrugs. That's basically what you have as far as doing traps. I could describe a little more. There's some interesting concepts of like how to do the front raises to get, to maximize the trap workout. But yeah, that's very basic. The bulk of that workout is actually just working on delts, working on deltoids, working on shoulders. So that's one where there's no supersets. Okay. And in fact, because I'm also doing traps, it actually ends up being not just 4 exercises, but it usually ends up being 6 or 7, depending upon the amount of time I have. If I have more time to get in that workout, your shoulders and traps workout, that's one that you can knock out, especially if you only do 3 sets of each exercise. That's one that you can knock out within 40 minutes. That could be a shorter day, and you could put that wherever you want. If you know you're not going to have a ton of time, shoulders day is a great day to get that in. And, as far as like, if you have a longer amount of time, well, then you can just do more shoulders. You can do a couple different presses if you want to. You can add in an Arnold press, or you can add in a neutral grip press, and so on. An important thing to understand with shoulders that I've really come to realize this year is that with shoulders, if you're trying to maximize strength, okay, with shoulders, you don't want to do your shoulder workouts seated, okay? You don't want to, or particularly your shoulder presses. Again, you have a few different presses you can choose from. Military press, standard shoulder press, Arnold press, neutral grip press, and so on. If you're going for strength, you want to do it standing. You don't want to do it seated, okay? Maybe with your back, against, maybe you have an adjustable bench where you can lean on the bench, which is a fine thing. But if you're going for size of your shoulders, you actually want to do it seated, okay? Because that'll allow for a greater concentration on, more or less in the muscle itself, but that's more for size. As to where if you're doing it standing, there's a lot more action going on, and so you end up with a lot more functional strength. If you're going to ask me which one do, I'll usually, if I add in a press or so, a couple of them I'll do standing just to change things up. But in general, I do my shoulder workouts seated because for me, it's very much about the look. I mean, you're going to get strong regardless. It's not, it's not like that big of a difference, right? I mean, you're still going to be, if you have that muscle, you're still going to be ridiculously strong. People get in this conversation about functional strength and all this stuff. There's something to be said for that. I don't necessarily think it's functional strength. I think what these guys are confusing functional strength with is the concept more perhaps of endurance or something like that. But I'm definitely very interested in the look, okay, and the health of the matter. But you're going to get all that either way. I mean, it's really just splitting hairs when I say that sort of thing. So anyway, shoulders and traps, that's the other day. And again, that can be your shortest workout of the week. So if you have a day where you don't have a ton of time, that's one to lock in there. The next day I might do legs. And then after a leg day, then I'll come in and I'll do chest. Okay. And for a while I was doing chest and back as a superset. But chest is, I think, such an important muscle to really concentrate on. I've changed it to where I turn that into one complete day, just on its own. And that's still an exercise. It doesn't end up being shorter like shoulders. It still ends up going for whatever reason. It ends up going for an hour plus. And often I will add in more than just 4 exercises with chest, depending upon the amount of time that I have. A lot of different presses, a lot of different dumbbell flies. Incline, an important thing also that I've learned this year is the importance of incline, or that not that I've learned, but that I've implemented, because a lot of this I knew, I just didn't implement it yet. But incline can dramatically change, like the incline of the bench, say it's at 30 degrees, 45 degrees, 90 degrees, whatever, can dramatically change the efficiency and the effect of the workout itself. Okay, and with chest, certainly your incline and the position of of the dumbbells or whatever you're working with can really change what part of the chest you're working on. Like, a lot of people make the mistake of not working on their upper chest, lower and just the chest, I guess neutral. Most people hit that with, your basic, when you're getting under the bar and you're doing a good old-fashioned bench press, right? Like, I mean, everybody does that. But a lot of those don't actually get to the upper chest. When you adjust your bench to where the back seat of it is at like a 30-degree angle, then suddenly you can start hitting your upper chest. So you want to change that up, different angles, and that allows for you to do the same exercises, okay, but at different, at different angles, okay, different inclines. It totally changes the exercise and what it's hitting. So that's chest is a very simple workout to do because there's not a lot of different movements, at least in what I do, but the different inclines is what really changes things up. So that's something to keep in mind as well. So then so that's chest day. So what's that? That'd be my 4th day. So we've still got 3 days to go. The next day I might do back and biceps. Okay, and some people might think that's kind of a weird superset to do, but I am very pleased with the results so far because some back exercises really hit the biceps anyway. An important thing to consider is that, and you'll notice this as we continue through like the week that I do, is that your biceps are really getting activated on any upper body workout. Okay, so you're actually working your biceps out quite a bit. All right, whether you realize it or not. So you do want to break up your days where you're not hitting your biceps so much, or where you're not doing upper body so much. And so anyway, I'll do back and biceps there. And that, again, I'm pleased with how that's turned out. And then I'll do another leg day at that point. Okay, now, if I know I'm going to get a full 7 days in, somewhere in between where either I did triceps and biceps and shoulders, or where I did chest and back and biceps, again, that's just all upper body, I'll put in another leg day. I'll do leg day 3 days a week. And the reason for this is that most people don't hit legs enough. Okay, like they just don't work on legs enough. And so if I have the time, I'll get in a 3rd leg day. Okay, but especially recently, honestly, like it's been tough to get in 7 days a week. Getting in 6 is fairly easy. And 5, I can do usually with no problem. Okay. But, make that 7th day be kind of the, just in case, if you want to do 7 days a week, make that 7th day, not the day of rest, make it, maybe that other leg day. If you feel like you need a day of rest, great. You still did legs twice that week. And so you're still ahead of the game on most people, frankly, that are interested in fitness, because most people hate leg day because it's tough to walk around. It's particularly painful and you're always using your legs. You don't realize how much you use your legs until you do an actual leg day. Then you realize that, oh, fuck, does that suck, right? So anyway, yeah, the last day of the week, or the option day within the week, I like it to be a leg day. Now, that said, okay, and again, it's the same deal with the bulk of that. Usually it's, 4 to 6 exercises with any body part that I happen to be working on. And, it's usually 3 to 4 sets within that, and generally you're shooting for 8 to 12. Some things like back is such a large muscle, you can do a lot more reps. It doesn't have to be 8 to 12. You could do like 16 to 20. Okay. If at any point you're doing more, say, particularly like if you're working biceps, if you're doing more than 12 reps, it's probably time to go up a weight. Okay. And, a lot of people talk about form. Yep. Form is really important. I mean, there's a lot of very basic rules to understand out there, that you can run with. Now, I mentioned to you that there are workouts that you can do. Say it's a day where you don't have a ton of time. You're in a hurry. Maybe you got to get somewhere in the morning or something like that, but you still want to get in some kind of a workout, right? There is a short workout that you can do that actually I recommend appending to every workout that I just described. Okay. And the short workout that you can get in inside of like 10 to 20 minutes is you can get in a calves workout doing calf raises. Okay. And you can get in a forearms workout. All right. And you can do those at the same time. I recommend. All right. Well, here, I'll break it down for you. This is, again, you can add in this. If you want to add this into on top of an actual back and buys day, okay, you can start off. It's a nice warm up for the arms and everything else going on for you. You could start off your workout. Okay, maybe you're waiting for your pre-workout drink to kick in. You can start off with, some heavy loads with doing a calves workout. Okay, and you're just going to do calf raises. It's four sets of however you just rep to failure. Okay, you just go to failure. If it's 20 or 30, whatever, you go to failure. And you will, now I've recently got into using lifting straps for this because the amount of weight that I can lift with my calves when I do calf raises is, generally more than I could hold for an extended period of time. So, you put on your straps there, your lifting straps, grab the dumbbells, however you're doing it, or maybe, maybe you're using, I don't know. Yeah, maybe you're using, the squat rack for this, however that ends up working out for you. Anyway, get the weights and you're going to do one set, okay, where your feet are just pointing straight. And generally you want to, even if you like at home, what I would do is I would actually put a board, like a 2x4 board down to give just that little bit of extra extension for when your feet are going up and down. But you're going to put your toes on the board, okay, or this could be done on the edge of a stair, whatever. And you're just going to press up with both feet, okay? And that's a calf raise while holding weights at your sides, all right? And so you do that with your points with your toes pointing forward. Then you're going to rest for 30 seconds. And with forearms and with calves, you don't need the long rest period. You pretty much just want the burn to go away, and then you want to get going on your next set. And so then you want to do where your toes are pointing inward. And do the same thing. Just lift up, and then for as many reps as you can do. Okay, rest, let the burn go away. Then you want to do, toes pointing outward. Okay, and this is going to make sure that it's working out like every part of your, you're getting a complete calf workout here. All right, and that same deal, until failure. Okay, and then you rest, let the burn go away, and then I usually do 4 sets of that, and I will do where my toes are pointing forward again, which is kind of the primary motion. Okay, and I do that to failure, and then that really doesn't take long. To do. You can have that knocked out in 5 minutes, that calves workout. Okay. Now, If you are doing specifically, okay, like I said, you can do that at the beginning of any workout. And then if you want to do a second round, you could do it at the end. All right. Now, the other thing that you can do, and you can do, understand, you can do calves because it's a muscle that recovers so quickly. You can do that every day. Okay. On leg day, obviously you do them, but on any upper body day that you're working, you can do that, every time. Okay. And if you only have a few minutes in the morning before you're going out, it's a great workout to just blast out fast. Okay. Especially if you have a home gym, right? Or if you have a set of dumbbells at home, it's a great workout that you can do from anywhere. And you cannot do calves enough. All right. Because it's often, you look at guys on Instagram and all that, it's generally the most disproportionate part of the body on just about any guy. All right. Like you look and you go, wow, those, it looks amazing up top, but get below those quads and what's he got going on there? Granted, with calves, like a lot of that can come down to genetics and you might not be able to help it. You might not be able to grow huge calves, and some people say that, another thing to do with calves, some people say that really you don't need to do calf raises. In fact, for some people, calf raises will never work. The best thing you can do is just maybe run, and I'll talk about running here in a minute. Run, go for a hike. Hiking especially would be helpful with that. Just the usual ways that, you ever see hikers, like people that are like professional hikers? Well, I don't know if that's exactly a professional job, but you know what I mean. People who hike a lot, they always have like these massive calves, and they're not bodybuilders at all. They just have these massive calves. Well, that comes from hiking. So if you want to do a lot of hiking to build up those calves, that, you could do worse things. But anyway, the calf raises, you can do that beginning and end. The other thing that you can do every day is forearms. Okay. And in fact, there's a lot of really interesting ways to do forearms. All right. But you can get into forearms workout. You can use what's called a forearm blaster, which looks like a rod that has a rope on it with weights, kind of tethered at the end, and you just kind of roll that up and down. That's one forearm workout that you can do. There's other like simple wrist curls that you can do that look like a joke of an exercise, but they are not. Okay, those exercises will kick your, you're going to see it in your forearms in pretty short order. Okay, so there's a few different forearm workouts that you can do as far as that goes. And you want to do, actually, if you're going to do dumbbell wrist curls, you want to do them both ways, where your palms are up and your palms are down, and obviously those are going to have two very different weights. And then, there's other, you can look into that, different forearm exercises, but bottom line being, I do recommend working out your forearms. If you can do it every day, dynamite. If you can add that in every day, you've got the time, that's awesome. Again, it won't add a ton of time. It adds anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes to any workout, but that's one you could do every day. Just make sure if you're going to do it, that's not one like calves where you can do it at the beginning of the workout. Okay, that's when you have to do it at the end, because it's going to affect your grip strength throughout your entire workout. So you want it to end off. And if you want to know what a great forearms workout feels like, try typing on a keyboard after, and you can't. You had a great forearms workout that day. So you can add that in. Now, to describe, like I said, that quick 10 to 15 to 20 minute workout that you can do if you're really pressed for time, do calves, then do forearms. Do your entire forearms workout, okay? And then do another round of calves if you can get in another round of calves. And that takes about, 15, 20 minutes. But that's a great, any day you can work those in. You did your bit for king and country, as far as, as far as your body being king and country or queen and country. And, and there you go. You got in some improvement, some physical self-improvement for the day. So that's a great little workout to do, is just what I described. Get in a forearms, or, do calves, forearms, another round of calves, and you've got yourself a very quick workout done for that day. The other workout that you can do every day is abs. Okay. And as far as like what to do with abs, there's a lot of workouts you can do. I'll tell you though, getting a good $20 little ab roller and doing like 100 of those a day or something like that is going to take you very, very far. Like, you're going to be amazed at how far that gets you as far as developing calves, not calves, abs. But the main thing with abs is diet. Okay. Like, to see the abs, you've got to have that low body fat. All right. And so abs are as much about your diet as they are about working them out every day. But it's not something you do, in my opinion, guy or gal, you do not have to spend an entire day on abs. I think that that's kind of a waste. It's another one of those exercises where if you got the time, you can tack on another 10 or 15 minutes to any workout that you're doing. Or if you want to make that your quick workout for a day, go ahead. But I mean, the thing is with abs is that I think if you do it right, it hurts. And so it's not really something you want to do because, if you, in my opinion, if you do abs really well, or at least while you're developing them, once you have them, maybe this isn't so much the case, but while you're developing them, it hurts to eat, right? Because your stomach just feels that tight, your core just feels that tight. So you might want to consider that when doing abs. In my opinion, especially when you're starting out, when you're trying to get a certain physique, say you're wanting to be, maybe you're like me, you're wanting to be this monster of a man or something like that. Abs, I don't know that I'd even be doing abs within the first 6 months to a year, because your main goals are to build up the size of your muscles. You're going to be feeding those muscles, probably quite a bit. You're going to be eating, you have to bulk up, right? You have to feed the gains, as they say. And in that sense, I'm not saying it's worthless to work on abs, but at the same time, you're not really going to see them during that bulk up phase. And so if you don't want to add in abs, I mean, you could almost, I'm not saying you can ignore it, but you can almost kind of ignore it. And especially if you're doing a lot of standing exercises, you're actually getting in an abs workout anyway. Another abs workout that you can do that I want you to look into, it's called vacuuming. I'm not going to describe it right now, but it's an abs exercise that you can do pretty much anywhere at any time. You can do it while you're driving. And that's a really handy thing to get in as well. If I think of it, I'll put in a link for an article about vacuuming, which is a classic move from back in the pumping iron days, the Arnold days and everything. But yeah, I do recommend that. Now, some people may be saying, but Stallion, what about cardio? Okay. Here's where I might say something a little controversial. This is only my opinion. It's only my own little desires and opinion. It has nothing to do. You do what you want to do. Okay? Okay. I do not do cardio. I have experimented with cardio. I can understand where perhaps with fat burning that it can be a very great thing. But I personally did not necessarily see the benefits of cardio. I didn't see the improvements that I was looking for. Okay. I am definitely a weightlifting guy. That is, I want to do weights. Weights need to be in the picture, and that's what I'm about. There is and I've talked about this in recent Sovereign Tech Prime episodes, there's a classic book by Sylvester Stallone called Sly Moves, which, if you really want to get started in fitness, I totally recommend that book. I think that book has brilliant things to say. All right. So in that, he talks about how, the dangers of just being all cardio, or of where there's guys who said, oh, you only need to eat yogurt, if you just eat yogurt all the time. I mean, and Sly pretty much, Sylvester Stallone, who, how do you argue against that body even today? He would tell you more or less that, the same thing I was saying, that everybody's an individual. Some things work for others and they don't. But the push for a lot of cardio is a real problem. Okay. He would say, particularly with guys. I personally don't do cardio. I'm not saying you can't do cardio. People have different goals. Go for it. Okay. If you want to. And here's where kind of the controversial thing I'm going to say is, okay, now again, it depends on what you want out of life and what you want to look like. That's why that's the first thing we started off with. Okay. If you want to be a huge guy, all right, you're going to have a little bit of dirty bulk on you and all that, and I think cardio would take that away anyway. All right, then that's fine. So, it's fine to have dirty bulk, and also it's fine if you want to cut it away. Again, I feel like that within the biological differences, not gender, we're not talking about gender here, okay? Gender, there's tons of genders, so it's not just two. So we're just talking about biological, men, women, or male, female, all right? Biological, that's all. Who has a dick, who doesn't. That's all I'm talking about. I feel like that cardio does much better for the female body than it does for the male body. Okay. That's my opinion on it. But it depends upon your goals. Maybe you want to be a pretty slim figure and you're not looking to be a monster. Well, then I guess, cardio is a thing for you. Sure. Okay. But I think a lot of the male obsession with cardio really comes from wanting to, say, look good in Instagram pictures. There is an entire problem. I could spend a whole episode on this. There is a huge problem with people wanting, and I'm not saying that it's invalid. Okay, if your business is being a model on Instagram, that's your business. But there are people who are doing workouts that I think are detrimental to their long-term health and long-term goals. And there are people who are doing diets that are detrimental to their long-term health and their long-term goals that are doing it just so that you can see more veins on a smartphone screen, right? Just so you can see more veins or whatever, on an Instagram account, on an Instagram picture. And that's terrifying to me. You want to talk about the unhealthy things that social media is doing to us. That's really scary, and those guys are never going to, a lot of those guys on social media, to say nothing of the filters or photoshopping that they might even be doing as well. Those guys are never really going to get to the level of mass that they could achieve. They're never going to get to the level of strength that they could really achieve, that they could have achieved just by the nature of what their workouts were allowing for, partly because they're adding in workouts that are antithetical perhaps to their, I guess it's their goals is to look good on Instagram. Hey, okay, then that's your goal. But, either way, I think it can do more harm than good. Okay. That is an opinion of mine. It's one shared by others. It's one shared by people who are much more intelligent in matters of fitness than I am. Okay. But that doesn't mean it's true across the board, nor does that necessarily mean that it's right. Okay. So I want you to keep that in mind. And also, I'm fully aware of my own tastes, my own biases, right? Where, I am personally into, as far as what I find attractive and so on, I'm very much into again, there might be unlimited genders, quite frankly. Okay. And I mean that, as far as like within body types, I enjoy what I'm attracted to, and I'm just telling you what I'm attracted to. I am attracted to more of the extremes of the, more conventional genders that people are aware of, right? Man, woman. Okay. There are hundreds of genders, if not a limitless amount of genders beyond that. All right. But I have, what I find personally attractive are, women that look very much, conventionally like women and so on. And as far as men, I find men attractive that, are these, again, massive beasts, as it were. That's not always the case. It's not, and for both sides. Okay. But, so I understand that, I am not so much personally into women that are that are your bodybuilder types, and so on. I respect the hell out of them, and I think it's amazing. Okay. And they are beautiful in their own way, but I'm just telling you that, like a woman that works on a lot of cardio, maybe some abs and legs and stuff like that. Fantastic. Like I love that sort of thing. Okay. I recognize that that's my bias. And so I want to keep that in check when I am saying, and obviously a lot of what I have to say is more about fitness for men, but I want to keep that in check when I'm saying to you what I think works best or looks best is that, I have my own goals and desires to keep in mind, right? So, as far as like with guys, again, some guys want to, they don't want to be massive. They don't want to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger or something. And that's great. You don't. Personally, I do. And, not only do I, but, I appreciate and have a connection with others that do as well. So that doesn't mean I don't have a connection with other people, that don't. Of course not. I'm not saying that. But I'm just putting that out there that I recognize that and understand that I'm bringing you this honesty because a lot of fitness publications and websites and trainers and so on, they are all also coming with their own biases, right? Like there are a lot of guys who will talk about, the wonderful benefits of functional strength and doing this and that, when maybe what's really going on for that guy is no matter how much mass gainer he drinks, okay, he can't get to the size of like a Franco Columbu. Okay. And he won't be honest about that. He is not being intellectually or psychologically honest with you. And, so I want to make sure that I am being completely honest with you of what I want to see in myself and what I find perhaps attractive in others. Okay. And so that's why I bring this up. It's not a judgment. No one's saying you're ugly. I don't even know who you are. Okay. To even begin to say that sort of thing. I am just saying that's what, on a personal level, what I'm into. Does that mean that, again, people can be beautiful in all their own ways, and yeah. To say that that's how I feel about things across the board, nonsense. All right. Just like, look, yeah, do I respect and appreciate someone who takes fitness, at a very serious level, much like I do? Yes. Am I going to treat you like shit because you don't take fitness seriously? No. Hell, I've had people in my life and have people in my life that, probably don't give a rat's piss about fitness, but I love them as much as I can love someone, in a very real way. So come on. Okay. So we've talked about the actual exercises and so on, kind of giving you an overview on that, on what I do. Let's talk a little bit about diet, because that has changed for me as well. I am now at a point where I am doing 2 protein shakes a day. Okay. As far as what comprises those protein shakes, I will list that off in the show notes and you can look at that. But I am definitely doing 2 protein shakes a day. I am taking in as much protein as I possibly can. I have heard arguments over the past year that we don't know the upper limit of how much protein to take in is unhealthy, if it even is. So I will get into all of that but my supplements are very basic, as they've always been. Okay. There's a pre-workout drink that has creatine in it and so on. I have a protein shake earlier in the morning. Okay, that I'll have, and then also I'm not exactly always eating just once a day. That is, the intermittent fasting is something I had been experimenting with and so on. The thing is I know, like right now, I am not eating enough. Like I have to eat more to be able to feed what I'm trying to achieve. Okay, so it's 2 protein shakes a day. As far as the supplements go, again, it's basically, I have a pre-workout drink. Okay, that gets me going for the workout. After the workout, I'll have a recovery drink with BCAAs, branched chain amino acids and so on. And then I'll have another protein shake after that. Now, within those protein shakes, like I said, there are some other things. I add in some creatine. I'll put in some, Sacred 7 mushroom powder. I put in turmeric. I put in, what is it? Spirulina and chlorella or whatever, or chlorella. Whatever. I'll do that. I have fish oil. Okay. There's that, but it's very, very basic. I'm not tossing in like a whole ton of shit. Okay. Into my protein shakes or as part of my supplements. I do supplement. Now, again, this is for a guy. I do supplement with Tribulus. I actually take Tribulus Extreme. Again, I'll list all of this in the show notes for this episode. And I take that once daily, pretty much. And that it's not steroids. Okay. It is about testosterone. Not that I have a testosterone problem. In fact, I've talked about that in previous, fitness specials, but regardless, that's what I do. I'll put all of that in the show notes so you can see. Now, as far as, talking about that and with diet, I'm also not exactly following any super strict diet, but that's also because I'm working out so much that, again, I'm not eating enough. I need to keep eating. And so, that's something to consider as well. But if you want to go low carb, or you want to go vegan or vegetarian, or you want to do that sort of thing, hey, that's your call. If you have to engage in like some degree of weight loss or something, that's very much up to you if you want to do that. Intermittent fasting, you can give that a shot. It is very difficult to do. Which intermittent fasting is basically you eat once a day. There's like this certain 4 to 8 hour window that you eat within, and then you don't eat at all the rest of the day. You can get used to it. You really can get used to that. But, I recognize that can be a very real challenge for people. So I'm not recommending that. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm just saying that, I'm not I get the challenges that come with that. So not going to spend a bunch of time, I know keto is the really hot thing right now. I'm not going to spend a bunch of time talking about that. That is really up to you. Some people have, have moral issues that they have as far as what they want to do with diet. Other people have concerns around affordability. Can you afford to eat keto? Can you afford to eat primal or paleo and things like that? I think, a lot of those diets are wonderful. Again, the most important thing really with any diet is just getting away from like really, really processed sugar, maybe sugary foods. Okay. But certainly the really processed foods, which is just about what any diet recommends in like chapter 1 anyway. So in many ways, I think that's the most important thing. So anyway, that's it as far as diet. Like I said, I am doing 2 protein shakes a day. The first protein shake of the day does, in a very real sense, act as a meal for me. But it's kind of that dense. But really, one last thing to say on diet, do not neglect your cheat meals. Like, it's good. Okay, really, it's good to give into that temptation. Well, it's always good to give into temptation, but it's good to give into that temptation. Okay, every once in a while, like go ahead. Okay, don't feel any shame on that. It'll keep you sane. So, speaking of sanity, I think the mental game is, again, one of the absolute most important parts of working out. And so I want to touch a little bit on that. I don't really have anything new to add as far as that goes, because I'm not one of those people that has a hard time getting his engine started, as they say. Okay. I'm not somebody, when I want to do something, like I really want to do it, I'm going to do it. Okay. When years ago, when I said, okay, I want to get back in some serious shape. In fact, I want to become a fucking monster. I had no problem with drive. I know a lot of people, and I'm sympathetic to it. Okay. I know a lot of people who, they can't get their motor running. They can't get their engine going, to even get started. And I don't know that I necessarily have any tricks for that, other than you need to know why. Again, this is the most important thing. Why do you want to do this? Because if you know the why, if you know what you want in life and out of, working out and everything, it's a lot easier to get started. Okay. Or to keep going. I will say, I think music is incredibly important, okay, for working out. In music specifically, I've done some workouts where I'm listening to audiobooks or a podcast, but I don't know, it doesn't feel like the same intensity. I've said this before. In fact, I know I said it on a Q&A because people ask me, like, what's the best piece of workout equipment you can buy? Either torrent it or spend $10-15 and buy the Rocky IV soundtrack. Seriously, like that soundtrack alone, song for song, pound for pound, is going to get you through so many workouts. I'm not even kidding. It's, oh man. I mean, and I've probably said it on, maybe even I've said it in past fitness specials, but like that is the ultimate workout album. Always has been, always will be. So, that's a great thing to get into. Another thing to do, don't watch any of the modern shit. The modern, like, there's those Generation Iron movies or documentaries that are, I don't know, they don't match the magic. Granted, they don't have Arnold Schwarzenegger, and there's only one Arnold Schwarzenegger. They don't match the magic of Pumping Iron, but watch Pumping Iron. Especially if you're just wanting to get started out, there is a magic to that film. Okay, and it's not just Arnold. Like, there is something really, and that movie's from like 1976, right? That documentary. I dare say it's the greatest documentary of all time. But if you want to get inspired, not even if you don't want to get to the size of Arnold, but you just want to get in shape, that movie will inspire you, in my opinion. At least it worked on me, years ago, and I mean years and years ago, and then even recently. Like, it's always fun to rewatch. I love rewatching that movie. I have a copy of the DVD, the 25th anniversary DVD, and everything. Man, I mean, is that an inspirational piece of work? So it's important, to have those inspirations, whatever those happen to be. Or maybe, and I've talked about this in previous fitness specials, put up a picture of a guy that you want to look like, that has your body type, or put up a picture of the kind of gal perhaps that you want in life, okay, and concentrate on that. I'm not saying that any magic happens, like in the sense of the supernatural, okay, but I am saying that it will keep you focused. So those are great and wonderful things to do, in my opinion, as far as, being into it mentally. As I know I said this in the last fitness special, but I'll bring it up again. I treat a lot of workouts like a role play. Okay, and this is going to get in my last bit about mentality, but I really do. I treat a lot of my workouts as a role play where I am I'm imagining all kinds of wild shit going on around me, or hell, I'm maybe even imagining that something that would equate to a porno scene is about to happen as soon as I'm done with these last bit of reps here, with some very sexy woman, and so, whatever it is, okay. Have fun with it. Go ahead, play a mental game. Do a little mental RPGing while you're working out or something. It will take you far. If you're wanting to just get started, especially with a lot of lighter weights, or even if you're just more interested in body weight and general fitness, there is a website called Darebee. I'll put that in the show notes as well. It's DARBEE.com. Has awesome fucking workouts in it that I used for years when I was first getting started. And I mean, just Neela Ray, who runs that, she is amazing. And she actually creates whole workout programs that are literally based like they're created like an RPG. Like it's a PDF file, and you're more or less, you're working out, but in a very real way, you're almost playing it like Dungeons and Dragons. And it's really, really cool. I think that's a great way to get in shape more. So the mental game is important. I mean, and another thing to keep in mind is that, especially when you go to a gym, this can be a little tougher because there's a bunch of people around you and so on. I actually don't mind and can appreciate, going to a gym with someone and, be it at home or, going to an actual gym, which I'll talk about that experience here in a minute. I can really enjoy that and love that because you're not alone in your quest, to put it in RPG terms, right? But you might want to, if you have very specific goals, it's generally hard to find someone who's trying to achieve the same goals you are. Okay, like really your same exact fucking goals. Like even if somebody wants to join you in a legs day or an arms day or something like that, they might have a different size in mind of what they want to do. And so keep in mind that. Don't lessen the intensity of your workout just to, maybe appease someone else. Okay. Working out, while it's great to have people that kind of bolster you, and inspire you to actually work out and to keep going and all that. It's okay to work out on your own, and it's okay to, very much do your own thing. You know where you're trying to get. Okay, and just don't let anything stop you. That's a truth in working out. That's a truth in fucking in life. Okay, don't let people stop you. And in fact, people that try to stop you or that try to change you in what you're trying to achieve, get them out of your life right now. Like no, not tomorrow. Right now. Call them up. Stop the podcast. Call them up and say, get the fuck out of my life if you're trying to keep me from achieving my goals. It's beautiful when you meet people who have the same goals as you. It's a wonderful thing. It's an amazing thing. Okay, but yeah, I know it's cliche. People talk about, you don't need that kind of negativity in your life and all that. No, be careful because people can be insidious. Okay, in how they start to kind of change you, mold you, and try to like push you towards more their goals than your own. Really only keep people in your life that are trying to inspire your own goals. If you have shared goals, hey man, you are two against the world, and that is one of the sexiest things ever. Okay, or maybe you're more, but that is so sexy. But keep in mind of that. Okay, only keep people in your life that respect your goals. Your own goals. All right, and again, if they're shared, great. If not, well, and they're not respecting it, you got to do something about that. Okay. So anyway, okay, beyond that, so that's some inspiration. Let me talk a little bit about the gym. So probably in last year's fitness special, I talked about, or at least at some point throughout 2018, I know I talked about this, where there was math done, shall we say, on what's more cost effective, what's more not just cost effective as far as money, but is effective as far as working out. In achieving your goals and size and whatever else. there was math done. I think bodybuilding.com did it, and they had like an essay contest and everything about it, where what's better, a home gym or going to the gym? And the basic winner seemed to be a home gym over time. Because here's the thing, to invest in a proper home gym, again, and it depends upon your goals. If you're just wanting to be fit, have general fitness, you're not going for any kind of size. You're not trying to be a monster, or you're not trying to get legs like, I don't know, Miss Carrie June or whatever. Whatever that is, okay? If you're just trying to be, generally fit, yeah, a home gym is going to do great for you, and you could get away with spending well under $1,000, and you're going to end up with everything you're going to need for the rest of your life, and stuff that will probably last you the rest of your life. I mean, it's really amazing. So that's something there. Like, even if you bought like a pretty good treadmill, you can get that for under $1,000. So that said, okay, now if you're trying to reach any kind of larger gains, if you're trying to look anything like a bodybuilder, you're probably going to, this is what I have come to the conclusion of over this year. While I get it, the home gym, argument is great. To become anything like a bodybuilder, you're going to spend tens of thousands of dollars on equipment to get you to that level, okay, in a reasonable amount of time. It's not going to take you 20 years for a home gym. And that might not be practical at all. When instead you can get a gym membership for anywhere between $20 to $50 that will give you access, a month, that will give you access to equipment. And look, this is the hard lesson that I've learned this year, and I think it's the most important thing, and I'll probably more or less end on it, this fitness special. But I got to the point this year where I literally cannot lift, and it doesn't matter if I'm wearing wrist straps or, whatever. I can't lift up the dumbbells, and I've largely been working with dumbbells, no barbells, nothing like that. I have an easy curl bar, but that's about it. I've been doing all dumbbells to get to, the point that I'm at right now. And a couple of great benches. That's all I've used. I can't lift up the weight. I have the dumbbells that go up to, some odd almost 100 pounds. I can't lift up the weight by myself, okay, that gets me to, where I need to be to continue to grow. Okay, like for a chest press, if I need to do 80-pound dumbbells, like it's almost impossible to get up those 80-pound dumbbells without some kind of assist and so on. As to where if I went to a gym and I used a machine I'm just 80 pounds is just an example. I'm not saying I couldn't do that, but you get my point. Using a machine where it's by cable pulley or something, where you can do those presses and you don't have to, or at the very least, say you're doing a bench press and the bar is sitting there waiting for you to just lift up on it. Okay, that's fine. But as far as getting it lifting from cold to position, I can't do that with the dumbbells anymore. Like, I literally have to go to a gym now. Okay, or I have to spend money, just tens of thousands of dollars on home equipment. And I don't know that that's the best investment right now. Okay. So, so going to a gym, there is, again, if you're trying to get to any larger size, you're going to get to the point where either you're going to spend tens of thousands of dollars at home, or you're just going to end up going to the gym. And I have gotten to the point where I go to the gym. I got a Planet Fitness membership. Now, Planet Fitness, to understand, the reason I got that, it's open 24 hours a day, which is great, okay? They're like everywhere. And you can, I think it's like 21 or something. I got some kind of deal. I don't know, it's 21 a month or something like that. You can go to any Planet Fitness, I guess, in the world, or I don't know if they're around the world, but at least in the United States. I can go to any one that I want to at any time. Great. Okay, like that's really beneficial as well, because if I'm traveling, that's very helpful. Because you know how hotel gyms are, they're not exactly, or they're usually not the best. So anyway, I did that. Now, those were my primary reasons for Planet Fitness. I am not at the stage where I need to be doing where my bench presses or, other things where I need like really crazy amounts of equipment. The equipment they have is fine. Planet Fitness is it's notorious. It's infamous for being the judgment-free zone, right? And this lends itself to a lot of things. One is that like their heaviest dumbbell is 75 pounds. Now that doesn't exactly matter. Like they tell you they're not catering to bodybuilders. Like they just tell you that right up or straight up. Now I am, like I said, working on being a bodybuilder, or I guess arguably I already am. All right. But for where I'm at right now, Planet Fitness, the weights are fine because again, okay, the dumbbells aren't 75 pounds, but like, I think once you get above 75 pounds, you need a partner to help you lift those things up anyway. And I don't have a workout partner in that sense. I can dig going to Planet Fitness with someone, but I don't have a guy buddy or whatever, that I do that sort of thing with. So that doesn't really matter. And the machines there go into the, hundreds of pounds. So it's okay that they don't have like the highest dumbbell limits and all this stuff. The machines go to the next levels that I need to get to. Okay, so Planet Fitness, it's intermediate, but it's working for me at this time. And as I graduate from that and suddenly the machines aren't enough and the dumbbells and the, whatever weights I can put on the barbells aren't enough anymore, then I start going to another gym, that does concentrate on bodybuilding. But I got to get to that, that's a point that I need to get to. And Planet Fitness is a great place to get you to that point where you need to upgrade to another gym. Okay. So that's kind of my thoughts on Planet Fitness. I know Planet Fitness they don't let you grunt. In fact, some of the rules were weird. If you are wearing like the tank tops, if you're a guy and you're wearing the tank tops that have like the really big armholes and like barely around your neck and all that, they don't let you wear those. Okay. They don't let you carry around gallon jugs, like a lot of bodybuilders will do this where they have a gallon jug and it's like loaded with BCAAs and all that, water, mixed in with that mix, that they don't allow for that. Okay. I mean, I'm not doing that anyway. In fact, I can't imagine where I'm ever going to get where I'm carrying around a gallon jug, no matter, what size I get to. So they don't allow for that. They don't allow for grunting or like dropping weights and stuff like that. That's okay. I'm not one for, I like to grunt. I've never been one to just like drop weights. Okay. That's never been my thing. I do like the grunting. I mean, I've always had the opinion that, when you're working out, if it doesn't sound like an orgy is going on, you're probably not doing it right. But yeah, I can keep quiet enough that's fine. And so, but the gym has become something that's a necessity now. Okay. Like it's the only thing that makes sense. I mean, I don't even have the room to where I could put in all the workout machines that I would effectively need. I mean, you look at The Rock, right? And he has the Iron Paradise, like this mobile gym that he carries around with him. I mean, it looks like a circus. It's this huge tent, right? that he has to put all this equipment in. And, you get to those points where you have to use all of that to keep at that level or you don't. And so I am at the point where, yep, I need a gym to get to the next level in size that I am going for. So that is something that's maybe the biggest thing that I've learned throughout 2018 was that, okay, you do get to a point where you're either going to get, a home gym that actually looks like a gym, or you're going to end up having to go to the gym. So keep that in mind. If you're just starting out, home gym and a pair of dumbbells that can go to, crazy weights is going to do you great for a long time, maybe even years. Okay. But if you want to keep going, you're going to get to that point where, yes, you are going to have to go to the gym. But the thing you don't have to worry about is that if you're already at that point, if you're at the point of working out where your dumbbells aren't doing it for you anymore, like they're not enough, it's a good bet. You're looking great, quote unquote, conventionally, and you don't have any shame when walking into the gym, because that's what keeps a lot of people away from the gym, right? Is that they're worried they look weak, or they look frail, or they look, whatever they think they look like, which just isn't true. And it's kind of why I'm glad places like Planet Fitness sort of exist, where it gives that person the confidence, where they feel they can feel a little more confident walking in there. It's not like Planet Fitness is a monopoly on gyms. They're not, okay? In fact, they don't even cater to a certain type of fitness regimen. So of course, there will be other gyms. There are other gyms. So, there's options for you. If you want to work out, go ahead, get started. There's no reason not to. And anyway, I hope that what I laid out in this episode was in some way helpful to you. Again, it's just an update. You can listen back to the older ones and glean things from there that you might want to try out. And you can try these things out. But basically, I'm not going to pay for like any personal trainer or something. If you've been working out from home as much as I have, you've learned over time what works for you, and a personal trainer is not going to really add anything into the mix. I mean, they're just not. So I'm not going down that route whatsoever. It's just very basic. Okay, gym membership. Let me access your machines that would otherwise cost me ridiculous amounts of money, and I'll take that, and then and away you go. And your journey continues. And I don't know. I love it. It's my time. Working out is part of, I'll end with this. Working out is part of what set my mind free from the distraction technology, or what we've called on Sovereign Tech the attention wars, right? Where so many companies and advertisers and whoever else are just constantly vying for your attention. Working out is what got me out of the attention wars, what actually broke me free from my smartphone, what broke me free from all kinds of different things, like really genuine problems that I think we have today in our relationship with technology. It broke me free from a lot of that, and it gave me that precious time where I am not looking at a screen. And after you do that, and then when you add that in with the pleasure that comes from working out, and eventually you do get to the point where your mind, what I always call your mind breaks, to where it actually feels good to work out instead of the opposite, where it's not a chore, it's actually a pleasure to do. All of that kind of puts you on your way, I think, to being a healthier person, not just physically, but also mentally. Potentially. And I mean, it's not to say it's the only path to health. I'm not saying that at all, but it just gets you, it gives you perspective. It gives you an anchor. And yeah, I mean, because obviously, look, I'm not saying that working out is somehow going to evolve you into some kind of super being or something. I can go to the gym. I've gone to the gym recently, and I've met the people that generally work out there. And a lot of them are, look, I'll just say it, they're fucking nuts. Like, I mean, they're literally crazy in the head. I mean, like they're arguing for all kinds of things. I mean, you think about how many people that are in the military that are working out in these gyms and everything, and they obviously don't understand the ethical issues with their very job, with their very mission in life. Okay, so there's no guarantees there. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if you are on your way, this is another point that could get you towards that healthier lifestyle. And I definitely think that it can really help you break free from a lot of the technology. And in fact, like my Xiaomi Mi Band that I've talked about recently doesn't play a factor at all in my workouts. None whatsoever. It's not even a part of it. So again, it's not like suddenly, oh yeah, I want a fitness tracker for this. Oh, now that I have this, I'll use it here. No, that hasn't even crossed my mind. So again, it can get you, I really think that working out, believe it or not, can get you into that mindset where you put technology in its place. Because working out helps you recognize, be it for strength or just for looks or whatever your reasons are, it helps you realize your own power. Okay, like the power that comes from inside of you. Not the power that comes from technology, not the power that comes from a gun, not the power that comes from any of that, because a lot of that is false. A lot of this is a false sense of power. This is real power that you feel inside, that comes from inside, and real confidence. That power, creates a confidence. Okay. And I'm not talking about just being strong and that you can go and be a bully. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you get a confidence and you get a power and your ability, and you see a growth that if you do put in the work, okay, and you're smart about the work, it will show. It's not a roll of the dice like investing. It's not a roll of the dice like, other creative pursuits and stuff like that. This is one of those things where in life you can actually feel, you can see your own personal power grow. And I think that's just a wonderful thing and a great reason, to work out in itself. It's intrinsically beneficial. All right. So anyway, that's it for this Fitness Special 2019. If you have questions, ask them. We'll get to them in a Wednesday Q&A. If you want me to clarify something, well, then, talk to me about it. Okay. And we'll clarify it. And then, because I imagine there's some things I said in this that maybe need some clarification. All right. So give me that chance to clarify if you really want me to. And then, we'll do one in 2020 and who knows where we'll be then. So that's it for this episode. I will see all of you on the other side.